Well, welcome to another Acres of Reed update. It's a 2-week mark. We've been doing about every 2 weeks an update on the garden. You're going to see this white powder on our plants. You've probably seen it in prior videos. It's this dipple dust. It's Bacillus thuringiensis, whatever. It's supposed to be organic. We do a physical. We call it a predator check because, well, to us, caterpillars are predators and they eat the food of our labor. Anyway, so we dust them once in a while, and we still find caterpillars on it, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. So we're going to start over here at the barrel. These are, we have back here, we're not sure if it's a jalapeno or a banana pepper. I did 24 seeds in here, but only one germinated, and I don't remember which half was which. So, and it's kind of in the middle, and with rain seeds can move, so we'll find out when it fruits. And these are our 2 green beans that we put in. They're doing real nice. No flowers yet, but lots and lots of foliage. I still have not trained my 2 grapes over here. They're the one I want to keep isn't quite long enough, and I still need to prune them so that all the energy will go into its vertical growth. It's been very busy here. And in the back, these are the banana peppers. Anyways, these are about 8 inches tall now from those little seeds. One of the commenters mentioned that I shouldn't have planted it yet, that I had the wrong leaf set on them. Well, we had already hardened them for a full week before we brought them in the sun, and you know what? They're doing just fine. And these are all champion radishes here. And it looks like everything that got planted, the Lord saw fit to bring forth. Our bell pepper should be turning color soon. It's been there for quite a while. It stopped growing about 3 days ago, and we have seeded carrots in here. I know it's a little late in the season. It's almost July, but you know, a little carrot's better than no carrot. The seeds were only 20 cents. So more champion. And these are the 5 jalapenos. This one here, when we first planted, was actually the biggest and strongest, but it's the smallest, and the one that we thought was going to die, although it's actually bigger than this one here. And they got wormholes, so I'm going to be dusting today. We still do a physical check. You know, you look underneath the leaves. You know, you don't be rough with it. And anytime you find something that shouldn't be there, you take it off and squish it. Where to begin? The ones that we planted over here are called indeterminate. That means that they will continue to grow until the first frost, and then they'll die. And these are actually determinates. Now, when we bought them at 50 cents, we didn't look. We didn't really care. As long as you get a tomato or 2, it pays for itself. Not a big deal. But these are determinate, meaning they're going to grow until they hit about a certain height, genetically, whatever that's going to be. And then they'll put out a lot of flowers all at once, and then you'll get your fruit all at once. And all of these were any of you seen the Charlie Brown Christmas special? And it's got that sad little tree with all the branches broken, but his heart just, oh, it breaks for it. He's got to have it. Well, that's what these were. Yeah, they were 50 cents, but they were all broken and twisted, and they were up on these big racks, and so they had to grow down and out and twist around, and they were all intertwined with other tomato plants, and it was just to get one of them untangled and out. It was so bad. So even though it was 50 cents, you got to work for it. And they just, you know, it didn't look like they were going to make it at first. But looky here. They're growing. This is over 2 feet tall. This is about 2.5 feet tall here. And we read that they should reach about 3 feet for this variety. I don't remember which was which. We have 2 varieties in here. Sometime I'll do a video on what variety is what. But they're starting to put out their flowers. We're so excited. And here's another set down here, and got a couple more down there. You can kind of see how it was twisted. We very carefully over time had to tie them up and around so we could get them staked. This one's ready. It's got a flower in there. It's open, and it's also about 2.5 feet tall. We were once we found out they're determinate, because it already had 2 tomatoes on it, we were worried that it wasn't going to put out anymore. But you know, if the 2 tomatoes come true and fruit out again, it paid for itself. But it's starting its own little flowers also. So, and it's also putting out new growth. Now, this back one, it was probably the most twisted. It hasn't grown a lot, but it's got a second shoot coming up. With determinates, you don't want to take any suckers off. With indeterminate, you do. You take the suckers off and the shoots. But these you leave alone. You don't want it, because with determinate, they need all the energy they can, because they have a much shorter lifespan. Then our peas. Oh, our peas are doing awesome. For being a bush variety, they all have runners. So we don't know if we need to trellis them after all or not. Maybe they'll grab each other. We had, of the 72 that we planted, confirmed we have 62, and we didn't count. There's like one here and one over here that are kind of struggling. We haven't counted those in yet. Right there's another one. So we have like 3. We didn't count those because they might die. And oh wow, look at this. This one back here, since the last video, which was just down on the ground still, has shot up in 2 weeks, about 2.5 feet, which is about the same height as those. And they're putting out their runners. They're grabbing each other. And we told you that this is the one that died. Well, this one was, if you remember, was struggling, and they said it kept coming back in the evenings, Let's see if we can get in here. So that's it there, coming out, and it's got a whole bunch of leaves. This is all of its cluster here, and we have lots of flowers started, and they've been pollinating. There's a whole cluster down there. I mean, look at all those. There's like 10 flowers in that little area. So they're doing wonderful. We're very thankful the Lord has brought those into our life and brought them into our stewardship. So, and then here's the green beans. Even though the runners died off on them, we're still picking them up and then putting them onto the string, and that'll give the peas more light. There's another one we think is probably going to die, but you don't know. It's the Lord's to grow, and He just might. You know, we thought this one here was going to die, but it's greened up and it's coming back. You can see we've had a bit of trouble with this was damaged after the many days of rain. We had almost 2 weeks of rain, and at the time we didn't have this in because we had just planted the night before, and then it rained, and the leaves kept getting stuck in the mud, and you'd pick them up, you'd rinse off as much as you could. And although they struggled and they almost died, if you put the tender loving care into it, keep them washed off. We put on a garlic spray that was recommended on Homestead Acres, which, by the way, a great site, very informative. We're very appreciative that they're sharing, and it's a blessing in our life. They have a recipe up there for garlic and soap, a nice organic antibacterial. It's supposed to help with rust, and I can tell you it works. May not be as perfectly good as a commercial product, but you know what? It's cheap, and let me say this again, it worked. We're very happy.